is fasting good for women over 40 or for women in general? In this video, I'm going to show you why intermittent fasting may be backfiring at you if you are over 40 and not letting you lose belly fat, or even worse, making you store some belly fat. This is me doing intermittent fasting, how hours of cardio training for triathlon, and gaining weight like I couldn't understand why. And this is me now, 1 year after having my daughter. That picture was taken, not fasting, not doing diets, not doing anything crazy. It's the same person, but a complete different hormonal picture. I used to think that more cardio, eating less, fasting was the thing that was going to keep me lean. I wanted to be faster for my triathlons. So I was lean before. Then I tried to get leaner and I ended up gaining a lot of weight. And I've learned that created a complete hormonal havoc. And the reason, the way to solve that was the complete opposite, was less exercise, nurturing my body, not doing fasting, and just working on balancing my hormones. Today in this video, I am going to show you why fasting can be backfiring at you if you're 40 and over, how to know if fasting is good for you or not, because for some people it is good, and what to do instead. I'm going to show you what is that I do with my clients that is not fasting to help them lose the midlife extra body weight. My name is Karen Oliver. I am your host, and I am a certified health and nutrition coach as well as personal trainer. And like I said, today we're going to talk about intermittent fasting for women, and specifically women in middle life, 40 and over. Let's start by clarifying what is intermittent fasting. Let's be honest, we all fast. What is fasting? It's not eating for a period of time. We all go to sleep, and we sleep around 8 hours, so everyone at least fasts for 8 hours. That would be fasting. That's the reason why the first meal of the day is called breakfast, because it breaks the fast, the overnight fast. Okay, but now we have learned that intermittent fasting can be good for weight loss, and it also can have some good outcomes for health. So people are trying this system, and many people have found that they do lose weight. Why people lose weight when they do intermittent fasting? The reason why is because it creates a calorie deficit. You eat less. It is not because it's doing something with your body. It's not because it's improving your metabolism. It has nothing else on the back burner that means weight loss. The only reason why intermittent fasting helps you lose weight is because it's a good tool to reduce calorie intake. When you eat during less hours of the day, well, we have a tendency to eat less. That's it. We eat less, we lose weight. Now, why is it good for some people? Like men, you see men, they do intermittent fasting and they lose weight like this. And why you that are 40 and over, you're trying intermittent fasting and you don't see any changes? Because of the female hormones. Fasting is not good for women in general. If you are 20, 30, maybe younger, your hormones are in perfect balance and you don't work out much, then fasting may be a good tool for you because your system, your machine is working well. So fasting doesn't add stress to that machine. Now, if you're 40, you're probably already in perimenopause. And what does this mean? This means your hormones are fluctuating. They start changing. Your estrogen starts declining. Your progesterone goes down and up and down and up. You become way more sensitive to stress in a way that cortisol rises way easier than it used to do. You also become more insulin resistant. And all these changes create havoc in that machine, create stress. You're probably not sleeping well. You're probably under-eating because, to be honest, you're intermittent fasting because you want to lose weight, right? So you're probably in a calorie deficit or under-eating. You're probably working out, because if you're trying to lose weight, you're working out. You may be even overtraining. And all that, plus the hormonal change, is a lot for your female hormones. If you add to that fasting, intermittent fasting, you're just adding stress to that machine that is already working on overtime. It cannot handle anything else. So fasting just increases your cortisol, just lowers your female hormones, because if cortisol is high, your adrenal function kind of slows down. This is the reason why fasting may be the one thing that is keeping you from losing that belly fat, or even worse, making you gain more. Like if you see my picture, that belly, that hard belly that you see in that picture, that is cortisol belly 101. Wherever you put it, anyone that knows about hormones would have seen me and say, hey, you have cortisol belly. Let's see what's going on with you. But there are some women, 40 and over, maybe you have a friend that is doing fasting and it works. Yes, because not everyone has the same hormonal picture. But most women, to be honest, are going to suffer if they do fasting when they're 40 or over, or if they're younger and they do train a lot. And I'm going to tell you how to know if your hormones are in balance or not, to see if fasting is a good option for you. But first, I'm going to do a short break to tell you that if you like this content, if this resonates with you, please follow my channel. I talk everything about perimenopause on menopause, hormonal changes, weight gain, fatigue. You are going to like the content that I have for you, so subscribe so you can get notified when I post new videos. And if you know someone that is our age that is doing intermittent fasting, share this video with her because you are going to help her. So how do you know if your hormones are in balance? Well, I made a short questionnaire and hormonal assessment. The link is down here in the description. It just takes 2 minutes to fill it out. And that assessment basically takes your symptoms and tells you if there is a red flag for any sort of hormonal imbalance. It's going to tell you if you seem to have low progesterone or estrogen dominance or cortisol issues or what. It is just based on symptoms, right? It is not a blood test. If you want to do a blood test, I do that with my clients. But this assessment can help you determine if fasting is going to harm you or not. If you have any imbalance, you should not be doing fasting. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you're 20 and you do this assessment and it shows hormonal imbalances, don't do intermittent fasting. And if you're 40 and more, well, take the assessment and check if fasting is good for you. And I'm going to show you what to do instead, what I do with my clients and with myself, what I did to go from the cortisol belly fat to be in shape without fasting, without crazy diets, without crazy exercises. This is the protocol, like a big picture of what I do with my clients and myself. I make them do 12-hour overnight fast. So it's not that fast is not good. One of the biggest mistakes with intermittent fasting is that we do the fast by prolonging our morning fast, right? Instead of having breakfast at 8 in the morning, we move it to 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. And we do it like that because it's easier, because waking up and not having breakfast is kind of easy. But science has shown that for everyone, male, female, young, old, the way to do fast to see the best results is the complete opposite. You should start the fast early in the day. See, start the fast at 2 p.m. Don't eat more until next day. And you should break the fast as soon as you wake up. That is the right way of doing fasting, by the way. But so I do make my clients do 12-hour overnight fast. But how do they do it? They do it that way. They stop eating 3-4 hours before they go to bed. That's the first thing of this protocol. Then I make them eat protein in the first hour after waking up. So they wake up and they have 1 hour window to have around 30 grams of protein. And the reason for this is because we all wake up in a catabolic state. That means we're degrading muscle mass. And the way to get out of that catabolic state is getting 3.5 grams of leucine amino acids in our system. And in order to get that, we need to get around 30 grams of protein. So I make every one of my clients and myself have a scoop of protein powder first thing in the morning. There goes step number 2 of this protocol. Then I ask them to eat every 3-4 hours. And the reason for this is not because it makes your metabolism fast and it's magic. No, it has psychological reasons. They are not hungry when they go to eat because most of my clients have some struggle with emotional eating and overeating. So this helps in other ways. But it also helps keep cortisol regulated and taking the stress off the picture, the stress of being hungry off the picture. Fourth important thing is fuel the workouts. You have to eat before and after your workout. Listen, if you're doing intermittent fasting and on top of that, you're working out fasted, you have the perfect recipe to gain weight in middle age, and you're not going to lose it no matter what you do. That is too much stress for your female hormones. You have to fuel your workouts. You need to eat before and after. When I say you need to eat, it doesn't mean you need to eat a bowl of pasta unless you're going to run 2 hours. But if you're just going to do a 1-hour workout, you need to have something, some sort of snack, some sort of a little bit of carbs with a little bit of protein. And it doesn't have to be straight before and straight after. You have like a 2-hour window, but you should not work out fasted. And you need to refuel after that workout again to make sure your cortisol stays in a happy place, because exercise is going to rise cortisol, which is nice. We need that acute, that response that is just after the exercise and then it goes back to place. That is good. But if you don't eat, that stays high. And that's what we want to avoid to be able to lose weight or not gain weight. And then, like I said, start fasting early in the day. And don't do more than 12 hours fast. Now, listen, some people can't do 12-hour fast because we don't all have the same hormonal environment and picture. Some of us are more sensitive than others to stress. For example, me, I need a late snack. When I go to bed, I need a snack and it has to have carbs for me, for my hormones to be in balance. That is my specific situation. And that's what you do with a coach. You figure out what are your specific needs, right? That's when the one-on-one coach is different than the general protocol, okay? But these are the things you have to look for to know if the 12-hour fast is good for you or not. You need to see how are you sleeping. If you're having trouble sleeping, the 12-hour fast may not be good for you. If you're waking up tired, if you have cravings, sweet cravings or salty cravings, and I don't mean we all crave something from time to time. Oh, I would like to eat pizza. Okay, that's normal. When I talk about cravings, I mean cravings that involve anxiety. Like I need to eat this, like I can't help it, like I need this. If you're having those sort of cravings, something is off. Start by eliminating your fasting. Have a snack at bedtime. See if you're maybe under fueling. See if you're maybe overtraining. There's something off. Do you have irritability, crazy mood changes? If you have any of those things, you need to reconsider your 12-hour fast. Maybe it's not good for you. Now, if you're not fasting and you're still seeing all these things, well, you may need to do a blood test to see all your hormones. I do that with my clients, right? When I have clients that don't respond well to this protocol that I'm giving you, well, we look further deep in, right? We do the hair and mineral test to see if there is any mineral imbalance. We do the hormonal test to look for more important hormonal shift, and we supplement that, and it's a pretty easy protocol to fix the problem. And that's it. That is the protocol that you need to do instead of intermittent fasting. Like you saw my pictures, when I gained that weight, I gained like 30 or 40 pounds in 6 months. And it was fasting and overtraining, like I told you, but my hormones went nuts. I was wired like if I would be on caffeine and my blood all day long. I couldn't sleep at night. I woke up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. every night, but so wired that at some point I started just getting up and doing stuff around the house because staying in bed was impossible to stay in bed. I was so wired, and that was my cortisol. I lost my period because I was stressing my body and my hormones so much, and I was under eating and overtraining that my body collapsed. And it took me forever to figure out what was happening because no doctor sees these things, sadly. They gave me antidepressants, and what I had was a hormonal issue. Because of one of the other reasons is when the doctors run hormonal tests, they really don't run the deep hormonal tests. They just run the basics. And on the basics, everything seems kind of normal. They run cortisol in blood and not in saliva. And cortisol in blood doesn't tell you anything. You need to do saliva 4-point test to see what's happening with your cortisol. So no one would figure it out. And this is kind of like a short story how I ended up in this career and wanting to help people because I suffered so bad in that period of my life. And once I figured it out, I study, and I'm like, okay, I need to help people figure this out because I don't want anyone to suffer the way I did and not find the answer. And then what I did to solve it, what I just told you. I stopped overtraining. I started listening to my body. If I was fatigued, I would not work out that day. If I was hungry, I ate. Of course, I didn't eat crap. I ate whole foods. I try not to eat ultra processed things. Like, it's not like if you only do this, you're going to lose the weight. No, you also have to work on eating healthy, right? But it was all about listening to my body and nurturing my hormones. The first thing I did for a while was not to try to lose weight. I worked on balancing my hormones, on lowering my cortisol, on bringing my cortisol curve back to its original place where it should be. And once everything was there, then it was so easy to lose the weight. I didn't do much. Back then, I was not training for any event. I was just running 30 minutes, 60 minutes, without any specific plan. I was lifting, but it's not like I lift 2 hours a day. I did 30 minutes, 40 minutes of lifting in my home gym. It was very chill, and this is the result. So I am sure this can help you too. Go down here. I'm leaving a PDF, free PDF for you with information about intermittent fasting and women in midlife, and I'm leaving the link for the hormonal assessment. I hope this helped and you stop fasting today, and I'll see you on the next one.